Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. So this is the second video for today. The first video was just on Bitcoin, the markets, the miners, and DMG's quarterly results. And then this video is going to be on the quarterly results for the miners, along with some metrics for growth, things like that. We're going to get into all that. Yesterday I posted a question for you guys on Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon. Everybody pretty much for the most part said, don't wait until the other miners provide it. So we're going to look at all that. But as always, you guys know, this is not financial advice for anything only. Do your own research. Spam posts get reported and deleted. I'm investing in following coins and companies for full disclosure. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously, and I do appreciate it greatly. All right, so let's get into what we have to cover here today, which is going to be right here. So yesterday I posted this question: should I wait for Hive, Iris Energy? DMG actually provided their numbers today, so that's included in here. And then Bit Digital as well have not provided their Q1 results yet, ending in March 31st. And you guys said not to wait, so we're going to go ahead and do the video on them here. I did it on Twitter as well, like I said here, and everybody said not to wait. So we're not going to wait. Let's take a look at the numbers that we do have here. I'll try to explain it as best as I can, and here's the quarterly results. So it's based on a bunch of metrics here that I kind of go over, or I track, and then I decide which miners I want to invest. This is my own personal investing strategy. Yours could be different. Do your own research as always. It's not financial advice. This is just kind of what works for me. Okay, but I've used a lot of these here, and it has worked pretty well. It's not perfect. It's also very, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's very, well, there's a word for it. It's based on my own thoughts and opinions, okay? Subjective, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so the first metric is quarter over quarter hash rate growth. We can see here on this chart over here. And the number one, obviously, that came in was Marathon, was obviously the top one. Cypher was the second one, TeraWolf, and then Hive. They added the most in the quarter. And then you have all the rest. You guys can take a look at those. I'm not going to read all of them. The bottom performers was obviously Mawson was down 468 petahash on the month, on the quarter. DMG was pretty much flat, and Bit Digital was down also, or up just slightly, 16.38 petahash based on that. Okay. So that's just kind of looking at that. The next one over here, which is this one, is quarter year to date. So we're basically looking at the same numbers because we're looking at Q1 from the beginning of where they started out the year, which was at the end of December 31st. So those numbers are the same. Again, Marathon, Cypher, TeraWolf, and Hive and Riot are the top 5 there. And then we have the same numbers there. Okay. Next, we're looking year over year hash rate added. How much did they add from last year, this time at the end of Q1 to this year Q1, at the end of Q1. So Marathon came in number 1. They added 7.6 exahash, followed by Riot at 6.1. Then we got Cypher at 4.8, followed by CleanSpark at 4.3. And then we got TeraWolf at 3.3. So those are the top 5 as far as how much they've grown in the past year. And we do have some ones that have actually done worse. Mawson is down 802 petahash. Hive is down 269 petahash. And Hive is basically because of, well, their GPU miners were included in the hash rate before, as of September of last year. That went away, and that's the main reason for that. And they hadn't had much growth. They have grown quite nicely here, but not enough to outpace that decline there. Hut 8, another mention here, is based on the fact that they had some issues at one of their sites. They're battling a lawsuit with the energy provider there. They also have had other issues with their, I think it's Medicine Hat that has the issues as well with some electrical components. So they've been kind of down as well on their luck as it is. Okay. Next is quarterly Bitcoins per exahash. So we're looking to see how much the average number of, their average hash rate for the quarter and the average number of Bitcoins that they mined for that quarter as well. And then we're getting the quarter Bitcoins per exahash efficiency here. So this is important. Top one that came in here was Hive. Obviously, Hive is in here right now, but they're not going to be in the final results because they didn't provide their results, along with Bit Digital, Iris, Argo, and I think Core Scientific is not included in these as well because Core is in bankruptcy right now. Okay, but the top one was Hive, Bit Digital, CleanSpark, DMG, and Cypher. So those are the top 5 as far as efficiency is concerned on that one. And the average efficiency is about 252. So you can kind of see which companies actually don't even go in with the average. You got the ones that are below it are DigiHost, Marathon, Mawson, TeraWolf, Riot, and Hut 8. We know Riot does a lot of curtailment. Marathon also does quite a bit of curtailment as well. It looks like May might be a really good month for them, but we'll see how this quarter is going to play out for them. Okay, but this is all for Q1. Next, we have quarterly BTC mined. Marathon came in at number 1 here, 2,195 Bitcoins mined, followed by Riot at 2,110. Then we got CleanSpark with 1,871, followed by Bitfarms at 1,297, and then Cypher at 1,154. So those are the top 5 there as far as how much they mined for the quarter. And then we're looking at the bottom ones here was Sphere, Moss, and DigiHost, DMG, BitDigital are towards the bottom end of production-wise. Okay. Quarter BTC per million shares. So we're looking at how many Bitcoins is mined per 1 million shares, basically. So we're taking the BTC that was mined for the quarter, number of shares that they had at the end of the quarter, and we're just dividing it and getting a number for that. So CleanSpark came in at number 1 with 16.6 Bitcoins per million shares. Marathon came in second with 13.112, followed by Riot with 12.052, Hive at 9.455. And then we got Iris at 9.112. So those are the top 5 performing there on that one. The worst one was Sphere 3D with 1.427. They've had a tough, well, last year, and then they're having a tough go at it this year again. Excuse me. So we'll see how that goes along with Hut 8, right? They've been way down as far as production is concerned, where they should be much higher than where they are right now. Okay. Then growth left, this is another one that's kind of important to me, is looking to see how much growth the company has left, exahash-wise, petahash-wise, whatever it might be. That is a good sign of growth, which I think is also going to lead to growth in the stock price on these. So Marathon came in at number 1 with 9.1 exahash left of growth. And I believe these numbers are based on the current numbers that we do have for them. So these are at the end of April numbers. We haven't gotten May numbers yet. Those are at the end of April numbers. So Marathon's got 9.1, CleanSpark's got about 9.1 as well. Cypher's got 2.2, Bitfarms has got 2.2 as well. Riot's got about 2.07 or so. So those are the top 5 that still have growth left in them. And then the bottom one is obviously Iris, was basically they're all fully installed right now. DigiHost with only 231 petahash, DMG with 315, and Hut with 684. Hut might change though. If the merger with USBTC goes through, they should get to, I think, like 7 exahash possibly, which would also increase them by about another 4.4 exahash or so increase. That would get them kind of ahead of Cypher here as far as that's concerned, if that does happen. Okay, but those might be installed anyways, and then they might not have any growth after that. Okay, so those are the performance metrics as far as growth, hash rate, operations hash metrics there. Next, we're going to look at the quarterly financial metrics here. So I look at compensation versus revenue. So what was their compensation percentage based on the revenue part here? DMG came in number 1 with 50.74%, which is really good. Riot came in second with 17.31%. DigiHost at 21.17%. Bitfarms at 27.82%. And then Marathon at 30%. Those are the top 5 right there. And then you got the other ones down at towards the bottom. Hut 8 has done the worst here, 128% basically. They're paying more for compensation, salaries, things like that than they are actually generating. So we've seen quite a bit of dilution from them, along with Sphere 3D. BitDigital as well, like to see those all come down more in line with being under 30%, if not even under 20%, is where we'd really like to see those. Okay, price to book ratios. On these, you guys know those ratios as well, so lower is better. Sphere 3D came in at pretty good at that one. They're at 0.373, followed by DMG 0.518. Mawson is at 0.631. Iris at 0.727. Hut 8 at 1.016. Those are the top 5 there. And the worst ones are Marathon and BitDigital, along with TeraWolf. And then Marathon should be, actually looks like, ahead of BitDigital here. Not sure why that didn't come out that way. Let's see, 3.1. Let's get this updated right now. Sort ascending. There we go. So they should get a score of 13. They should get a score of 14. So I score these from the best one to the worst, getting a 14 score. Okay. Next, we look at current ratios. We can see here that Marathon is right now at the best, 16.218, followed by Hut 8 at 9.853, followed by BitDigital 8.651, DMG at 4.726, and then Riot at 3.263, and those are our top 5 right there. Worst ones are Mawson, TeraWolf, and Iris. On that one, then we look also quarter over current ratio. So we're looking to see what the prior quarter ratio was to the current ratio. Did that improve? And we're grading them based on the improvement score for that. So Marathon improved the most here, 5.59 increase, followed by Hut 8 at 1.7, then DMG at 1.686, then we got Bitfarms at 0.672, CleanSpark at 0.288, and like I said, we don't have any data for BitDigital, Iris, and Hive. That's why they're at 0, and they're getting a score of 14 for those, and then everybody else down here is below that. Okay, next is debt to equity ratio. Looking at that, also lower is better. DMG came in number 1, followed by Riot, BitDigital, CleanSpark, and Hut 8. So those are the top 5 right there. Worst one was Marathon, TeraWolf, and Mawson. And then we look at the same thing quarter over quarter. Was there any improvements in that? So we want to see a negative number on these. Negative numbers are better. Marathon had the best improvement, followed by TeraWolf, Bitfarms, Hut 8, and Cypher. And then the worst one here was actually DigiHost was up 0.2 on the debt to equity ratio. Followed by Sphere, and then we have obviously BitDigital, Iris, and Hive didn't provide it, so they're getting scored at 14 with a 0 on that change right now. So here are the total score metrics for growth based on just their hash rate, Bitcoin production, things like that. When we tally all of those numbers up, we get Marathon number 1 spot, followed by CleanSpark number 2 spot, Cypher number 3, Riot number 4, and Bitfarms number 5 spot. And you got the other ones here as listed. Like I said, we don't have, obviously, BitDigital in here, Iris, or Hive as well. They haven't provided this. I may update this when they provide the quarterly results for Q1, and I'll give you guys an update on that, see how things just kind of checked out that way. Okay, but right now, Marathon, CleanSpark, Cypher, Riot, and Bitfarms are the top 5 for metrics and growth. Financial metrics are another story here. We got DMG coming in number 1, followed by Bitfarms, Hut 8, Marathon, and Riot are the top 5 there. And then you got the other ones here towards the end. You got a couple of them that are tied for, like DigiHost and Sphere are tied. Mawson and TeraWolf are also tied as well. And then when we combine all the scores, we get the total scores for the 13 metrics. We can see here that Marathon came in at number 1 spot. CleanSpark came in at number 2 spot. Riot number 3 spot. Cypher number 4 spot. Bitfarms in number 5 spot. Okay. And then everybody else here, as you can see. You guys can pause the video and take a look at that. And then I also do a weighted metrics. So some things I think are more important than others when looking at these miners. So one of the things that we looked at on these metrics here is like quarter over quarter hash rate growth. How important is that really? It's important, but it's not really all that important. Year-to-date hash rate along with year-over-year hash rate growth. That's kind of important, but we're really looking to see like what their efficiency is. As far as BTC per exahash, I think that's really important. How much growth they have left, I think that's also important. So I'm scoring that or weighing that with a 3 because to me that's important. The other ones here at 0.5, so basically half. BTC mined also at half. I mean, it's kind of important. You can kind of go one way or the other with it. I went with 0.5. It's important, but I want to see growth and efficiency really, things that will drive, I think, BTC mined in the future. And then BTC per million shares, I think that's also important because if you're able to mine more BTC per 1 million shares, that should give you higher revenue per share than somebody else that has lower BTC per million shares on that. Okay, so that's based on those kind of metrics on here. With all those metrics weighted here for the growth metrics, we got CleanSpark coming in at number 1 with 25.5 score, Marathon with 37, Cypher at 39, Bitfarms at 54, and Riot at 64. So those are the top 5 there for weighted metrics. And you can see here that Hut 8 actually came in at number, last spot here at 107 score for that one. And that's based on lack of growth, things that they've had, obviously the issues with BTC efficiency, things like that. That's why I'm at the end here as it is. Okay, next is the weighted metrics for financials. So I think current ratio is important. Obviously, debt to equity ratio is important. Price to book ratio, compensation revenue is important. And then quarter over quarter, debt to equity ratio, it's 1. Quarter over quarter current, that's also important that they have at least improved. But the first 4, I think, are the more important to me, at least. You guys might differ on this. You guys might put different weighting metrics to these. And, you know, that's just kind of, it's a subjective form here, but this kind of works out for me. So based on that, DMG came in at number 1 with 26. Bitfarms came in at number 2 spot with 55. Riot with 56. Hut with 58. And then you got CleanSpark in the number 5 spot at 65 here. And then you got the rest here with TeraWolf being the worst one here at 102 right now on that. So when we combine all those metrics together for the weighted metrics, here's how things tally up. CleanSpark came in at number 1 with 90.5 score. Marathon at 105. Bitfarms with 190.5. DMG at 110. But this was kind of surprising for me that they came in this way. But And the only bad thing with DMG is their lack of growth. Other than that, I think their financials are great, but just their growth, I'd love to see them grow a lot more. And then Riot is number 5 spot here with 120. You had Cypher 121, Hot 8 at 165, Sphere at 168, DigiHost 171, TerraWolf 179, and then Mawson at 190. So those are kind of the metrics there if you use the weighted metrics. Compare that to the standard metrics. Here's how things stack up. You can see that Marathon came in first for the non-weighted metrics. CleanSpark came in the second spot, so they kind of swapped here a little bit with the weighted metrics. Bitfarms was actually in the number 5 spot here. Their number 3 spot for the weighted metrics. Riot is in the 5 spot, so they switched. Cypher was in the 6th spot here, and DMG was actually in the 6th spot. So this kind of swapped around a little bit based on the weighted metrics parts of this. Okay, so that's it. Like I said, this is definitely subjective based on things that I'm looking at. You guys may agree with those things. You may not agree with those things, which is fine. But the spreadsheet is always available to my Patreon members, as always. That's going to be available probably later on tonight, if not tomorrow morning. I'll get this updated for you guys there. And I'll see if I can get this also somehow shrunken down for the YouTube members as well, to be able to see this, the graphics and everything else. But we'll see if that happens. Okay, so let me know what you guys think of all of this. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Do you think I should put different weights on things? Like I said, it's subjective. But the guys that have the access to the spreadsheets on Patreon, they can play with the metrics however they like. They can get it suited to what they actually think is important based on what they perceive. Okay, also, let me know if there's any other metrics that you'd like to see in here as well. Okay, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys in the next one.